Hey guys, Tisha here, and we're back for another Sister Wives Season 3 rewatch. This time we get to see the Browns be college bound. We begin the episode with the Brown family, well, the adults and four of the teenagers, getting ready for their trip to Boston. They're going to Boston to speak on the panel with Professor Danielle, who we met in a previous episode. If you don't remember, she is not only a minister, but she is a professor that teaches theology at different universities. She's arranged this trip so that not only will the Browns speak with her students, but other theology students who are in the area, as well as give the teenagers an opportunity to be able to see some of the colleges. Despite being at Janelle's house, we witnessed Cody calling Mary because he's trying to get things together for his trip. He wants her to iron some of his, his dress attire, as well as help pack some of his clothes. Cody really has it made because the only thing she wanted him to do was basically let her know what he wanted to wear so that it can be ironed. For some reason, we hear about how he has to pack from 4 houses. He starts at Janelle's and ends up at Christine's. I really feel like Cody was always all over the place, and he really made things more complicated than they had to be. I get that because you were at different houses, you had different things, which now makes me understand why you had different sets of clothing at each house. But I don't think you needed 4 of everything, because we later find out in Flagstaff that he literally had 4 of everything. All the teens, and when I'm saying all, I'm talking about Aspen, Maddie, Logan, and Leon, are excited to tour colleges and be out of school for a few days. Both the parents and children, as I said earlier, will be a part of the panel. The kids are excited about it, but the parents are kind of worried about the preconceived notions that the people who are in the audience may have. What I've realized is that this family tends to spend a lot of time worrying about the unknown. No one forced them to have this panel discussion. So them sitting here letting us know how worried they are, I was like, okay, y'all are worried. It's called a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of nervousness. You didn't have to go. They talk about Warren Jeffs again, and they do some comparisons. I'm not going back over that again because they mention Warren Jeffs so many times that I think it takes away what they're trying to do because they're focusing a lot on the negative of what he did. We then find out that he was convicted of sexual assault to minors, and the family worries about being compared to him. Christine says that she imagines a bunch of feminists, and Robin imagines the audience being full of people who think they're a bunch of idiots and fools for sharing their husband and settling for less. I don't know, because I don't feel like I ever felt like they were fools back then, but I do feel like there's a lot of things that they tolerated back then that looking at now, I'm like, okay, I don't see how you all could ever do this. I don't see how a religion would be okay with women having to continuously put their feelings to the side for a benefit of a man entering the celestial kingdom. I don't understand why religion would want you all to be fruitful and multiply. Yes, the Bible says that as well for those who are Christians. But with everything, use a little bit of rationale to it. Like, just because you can have a whole bunch of kids doesn't mean you need to have a whole bunch of kids. We see the family arrive at the hotel, and Cody's excited because all of them are on the same floor. As usual, he has to be extra and go to each room and get a key from the wife and write down their number and their name on the key because they're going to be there for a couple nights. I just think if you're supposed to stay with one wife a night, so if you're with Christine on the first night, then just get Christine's key. And then when it's time for you to go to the next wife, then get her key. But Cody likes to be able to pop in and pop out the way that he desires. He also wants to be able to say good morning and good night as he says. That could also be a simple knock on the door. He likes to have access. And so write all the different names and room numbers on the keys he shall. As I said, I think it's complicated for no reason. Professor Danielle brings some of her students to meet the Browns. They're going to have dinner. Logan lets us know that he likes to see Professor Danielle because she's a mix of a smart person and Christine. Now, they laughed about this, but I didn't like the statement because to me, it implies that Christine isn't smart. And we know that that's something that at one point Christine struggled with, because she even said in season 1 that Cody doesn't go to her for conversations that require intellect. He comes to her for fun. He goes to Janelle for the intellect. So I felt like it kind of sounded like something that his father would say, but because the teens thought it was funny and they laughed, I said, okay, Tisha, get out your head. Janelle says when she thinks about Harvard, she thinks about nerds, but meeting these kids and seeing these kids, they were a lot like her kids. When asked how they feel about the different practices of other people, example, some of the LGBTQ plus, y'all, I'm not trying to offend anyone. I know I left some letters out, but when talking about other beliefs and other relationships, we'll say that. How do they feel? Do they want their children to be like it? Will they respect and accept people who don't have the same thoughts as them? We know that they will. There's a young man at the table who said that he was nervous about meeting them because he identifies as a gay male, and he was concerned that the Browns wouldn't accept him. So it felt good to him knowing that they weren't judging him and that they were being kind to him, because I'm sure he's experienced before in life where people weren't as kind. So seeing a family that has this strong religious background and is willing to accept him meant a lot to him. They have proven, I will give them that, with most of their children, because I don't quite understand the dynamic with Leon and Cody, or Leon and Robin, but I do know that a lot of Christine's children and Janelle's children accept Leon, as well as the parents. So I will say that they have proven that to them, love is love. They say that the sister-wife relationship isn't understood, and it'll be hard for you to understand it unless you've been through it. Leon says that they felt a calling to be a part of polygamy. I wonder now if they still feel that way. The dinner went well with the teens, and as a result, the students asked them if they want to, walk around a little bit and get some ice cream while we see the adults stay and talk with Professor Danielle about what to expect. Professor Danielle says it's going to be eye-opening because this is going to be the first time that a lot of these theology students have encounter with polygamists, that they've seen things on TV and they may have read about things, but they've never experienced it firsthand. We hear that Boston has a diverse lifestyle, so there should be some type of, I always say it wrong, camaraderie with them and the audience. The key to any of this is being open-minded. As the students are talking to the kids, Logan says that he does not feel pressure to be a part of polygamy, that Cody has made it clear that he does not have to carry on the mantle. He doesn't have to take on that role. Maddie says she knows that she doesn't want to do it. Aspen says, as of right now, at 16 years of age, I'm leaning towards a no, but I'm not sure. Aspen says that it's difficult and it doesn't sound like the easiest life. To me, this is the first introduction that Aspen has seen some type of conflict or reaction, whether it be internal or external, from the adults, maybe from her mom and Cody, because what has she seen that she feels like it would be difficult, other than the fact that maybe her father isn't spending a lot of time at home? Leon is really excited about having sister wives. I won't go into too much detail about that because now that they identify themselves differently, I don't think that we need to even go down that. As I said before, I'm trying to be respectful of their pronouns. Maddie is overwhelmed with how smart the students from the different universities are. Logan says that they're smart, but they were also considerate. And that makes him really excited about the college experience. Maddie says, after everything, let's go. Our parents might be worried about us. It's the next morning. We see Christine making coffee with her version of a Boston accent. Before they go to the panel, they're going to go to a Plymouth plantation. The village is designed to be like the time period of the 17th century, and the people who work there act like actual people from that time period, to the point where even when you ask them a question, if you ask a particular question of a person, they're going to respond to you as the way that the person that they're portraying responds. Cody is really excited to meet this woman named Elizabeth because she is a descendant of the founder of their church. Cody in confessional was talking about how him meeting her made him feel like he was on holy ground. He then talks about how difficult it must have been to cross over the Mayflower under those circumstances. As he said this, it has nothing to do with anything, but the Pilgrims were not the only ones that experienced difficult quarters while on ships. That's all I'm saying. But I get where he was going with it. As they're speaking, Cody brings up that he has a large family, and Christine lets him know that there are 4 wives in their family. So while in character, the person that Christine was talking to lets them know, okay, if you have 4 wives, then you're not Christians. So Christine, forgetting that the person was in character, says, I'm sorry. Guess we are Christians. You could tell she was offended by it. Cody reminds us that the young lady was just taking on the role of the Puritans back then because the Puritans back then felt that way. Which then makes me wonder, how did we get to this point? If the Puritans felt that way back then, that multiple wives means you're not a Christian, how did the founder of their church then turn it into you can have the more wives the better to get to the celestial kingdom? It just shows you how much man will change things for their benefit. And that doesn't exclude the Bible. I'm just letting it be known. I've said before that I may have my beliefs, but I do believe that no one religion has it all right. And that there are parts of different religions that I admire and that to a certain extent for some of them I do practice. Janelle points out that Christine had got flippant with the young lady. Christine feels like you didn't see flippant. Cody still refers to Vegas as his Plymouth Rock. We then see them go on a college tour to Tufts and Harvard, being their 2 stops. We find out that at Tufts, the acceptance rate back then was 20%, and at Harvard, it's 8%. Logan lets us know that he likes the campus, but he's considering just how much it will cost to go to college on this side of the world. He says that he doesn't need to go to a big name college. He's fine with going to a local community college, that there are very good universities that you don't have to, go to such a big name in order to receive a good education. We find out that Leon and Madison want to go to Utah. Aspen says that she would like to go to Vegas for 2 years and then transfer at some point. Her and Logan talking about even maybe transferring for Tufts together to do a year together. The parents are just excited that the teens want to pursue higher education because some of them never completed it, and those who did it later in life. I'm thinking that that's referring to Janelle. The family arrives at a place where multiple theology students are assembled for this panel discussion. Mary says she isn't nervous. The kids say they aren't nervous. Janelle says she's not nervous, but she's pacing, and she says she's ready for it to be over. Christine says she's not nervous. Meanwhile, Robin says that she thinks everybody's lying because they are nervous and there's nothing wrong with being it. Janelle said her main concern is them asking questions that they aren't comfortable with. As they're talking about how they want to guard their sexuality and that when you ask questions about it, it's disrespecting it. To me, it's not that big of a deal. All you have to say is that you all have separate, intimate relationships with your husband and that relationship is independent of the other wives. That's it. That's how you stop the question, is by answering it. You don't have to give details. You don't have to say, oh, he sleeps with me on this night and he sleeps with her on that. You don't have to say any of that. All you have to say is we all have our own intimate relationship. And intimacy doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be sexual. The point is we all have an intimate relationship with our husband. Kody worries about being called a liar and a misogynist and being told he's controlling these women. I didn't feel that way back then. I never felt that Kody was a misogynist. I don't necessarily feel that way now, but I do believe that Kody is indeed a liar. And I do believe that he does control certain aspects of the women's lives, because we know that sometimes the women's response is based on what they think Kody is going to desire, or they may not say something because they don't want to upset Kody. So some part of him did have some type of control. We see the Browns get introduced. They walk in. The adults sit on the panel first, and Kody gives them a breakdown saying, that Joseph Smith is who created this church, that he did it on his own. Kody says that he feels like plural celestial marriage was established by God, and he isn't trying to sell his religion. Joseph Smith received this law by way of commandment, which makes me wonder if Joseph Smith for them is supposed to be some form of prophet. I don't think that they're ever going to go into too much detail about that, but part of me wants to go down this polygamous deep dive where I kind of find out a little bit more, just because I think Kody has a way of flipping certain things, and I want to see what their doctrine really says, which of course I probably won't ever see it all, because as we know, they're very protective of their community, but just something I'm interested in. I like reading about other religions. When asked about what kind of lifestyle they're promoting for their children, the Browns say that they're allowing them to choose it. Someone asks, how do you manage to make it work so easily? Kody has to be one hell of a man to handle 4 wives. Kody liked that. Like, he was smiling when the young lady said it. Janelle spoke up for him and said that Kody does a great job. He puts up with a lot of crap. The audience laughs it off. Robin brings up that if you're going to be a good sister wife, you support the wife's relationship with your husband. And if you stop doing that, then you failed. With that said, we've heard it here first that Robin has failed, because I don't think that Robin did a great job of supporting the relationship with her husband and his wives. I think that Robin became a stumbling block. I think that Robin played coy, acted like she didn't know certain things that were going on, and she did not encourage her husband, to do his part. They say that people get upset with polygamy because it's something that they don't understand. When people think that people's rights are getting taken away, or children are being abused, or girls are being forced to marry, that not only does it make those people angry, but Christine lets them know it makes them angry as well. Christine says that there's a lot more people who are polygamous that are like the Browns, rather than what a lot of people think of, which is Warren Just Society. I can say that that part's probably true, because I remember when watching Escaping Polygamy and the Amish and stuff, how you do see that not all communities are like Warren Jeff's community. We hear again about how Warren Jeff acted like he was a prophet and abused his congregation in the name of God. This goes back to me saying that I really do believe that some religions truly push their own agenda. Kody thinks a question about asking, because someone asked him about how he feels about brother husbands, and he said that that question is the most abrasive question he was asked. I don't understand how asking that question makes Cody feel so disgusting, because it's a valid question. In your religion, it's okay for you to have multiple wives, but it's not okay for a woman to have multiple men. Mary answers it by saying it's not a tenet of their faith, and Janelle says, but who really wants multiple husbands anyway? Like I said, why does Cody feel like it's so abrasive? The same way that Joseph Smith broke off and started his religion saying that this is what it's supposed to be, other people have broken off and countered and said, well, this is what it's supposed to be. So different things could be creative, where the abrasiveness and the vileness of a woman having multiple men could be explored. And it actually is, I don't know if it's a religious thing, but as one of the students says, it is something that happens where there are women who have brother husbands. This is off topic, but while Robin was talking, I noticed that her nails are manicured. So I want to know if they're still having a rough time, because at this point they still don't have jobs. Logan says that he's happy that they've came out because they've brought light, but they aren't as happy as they were in Utah, because someone asked them how the kids feel about the move. Madison says leaving Utah was heartbreaking and she would love to go back. Leon agrees. Aspen says that she's okay with being there and then eventually leaving. The family isn't together like they used to be, and it's been very straining to take a family of 21 and reestablish it, not because they didn't want to, but because it was what was best according to Cody. As I previously said in other episodes, I do not feel sorry for the adults in this situation, but I do feel bad for the kids, because the kids didn't decide this. It was all decided for them. Robin says that the kids were answering about the move to Vegas, and while they were doing it, she cringed a lot. Janelle says that their comments were taken out of context because it makes it seem like they aren't happy and like they're unhappy with everything. I don't think anything was taken out of context. I believe that everybody in the audience, including us who were currently watching the situation, heard what the children said and heard it very clearly. They did not say that they were not happy in Vegas. What they said was that they were happier in Utah, which is a given. The adults say they don't want them to think that their unhappiness has to deal with their faith. They want them to know that it has to do with the move. I say pay attention to your audience and listen to the questions, because they didn't ask the question in regards to their faith. They just asked them how they feel with the move. Cody says the choice of who they married has about 90% to do with happiness, and he's very happy. He would choose these women again. We know he doesn't feel that way. Matter of fact, I wonder if he feels that way now. All the women are very independent, according to one of the audience members. They're very strong, and she loves that they all are that way. I think that she loved it. I think that some of the wives loved it, but I don't think Cody liked it. At least he didn't like it once he encountered someone like Robin, who is more dependent upon him, because I think he realized that it did something for his ego, like something major for his ego, because how do you go from that one thing to, now you need somebody who needs you? I already read that. They talk about the panel discussion, how well it went, how it wasn't what they feared it would be. I don't understand why they feared it so much, because the professor already told them that would be more of a curiosity thing than an accusation thing. Just goes to show you that none of the adults listened. Y'all let me know what you thought about this episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time. Oh, y'all know what I gotta do. Oh, before I say until next time, I would like to reiterate, I did not mean to not call out the acronym correctly. Please do not charge it to my heart. I do not mean to be offensive. If I could right now, I would add it up here. I am very aware of that community of people, and I don't want to offend anyone. Love and accept everyone for whatever their beliefs is, and I hope that you can get that based on the reviews that I've already done. Until next time.